So before we get into this video, I just wanted to say a quick thank you so freaking much to anybody who has watched any Love Island video, left any support on them. I appreciate you all so very freaking much. And if you have enjoyed any of it, why don't you fucking subscribe? Do it now. Do it. I dare ya. Please. Love you. Anyway, we're getting on to the last little bits. We got the last couple of episodes and we're done. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm quite happy that it is gonna be done. I have really enjoyed doing this. Yeah, it's been real fun. But this has also sucked the soul out of me. It has. It's destroyed me mentally. So I'm happy it's over. Episode 27. The last episode was the little dinner where the couples asked questions to the public and obviously we all answered everything. And it all kind of kicked off. Sammy is kind of really confused over Curtis and Ekin-Su's reaction to the thing. They're kind of like split off at this point. They're not still sat together or anything. Alma's saying to the girls, like, I just can't stand him, Curtis. And she was saying like, oh, he ain't my cup of tea. And then she goes, he ain't my cup of lukewarm piss if I'm being honest. To any Elma hater out there, you're not welcome here. Because I love that girl so much. I don't care how she might have come across in this season. I love her. That's my mommy. Grace and Luca close it off. Cute, I guess. During this like conversation between Grace and Luca saying like on the outside and stuff that Grace will be his girlfriend very quickly. Grace says, what if I say no? Luca says, then I'll call Sammy. Ronnie and Casey are then having a chat. Ronnie's just basically explaining. He says to Casey, like, I don't know how you do it with Luca, because I've had enemies that are nicer. Fair enough, I guess. I don't know. I don't think Luca has really massively been in the wrong at any point during the season. Oh, apart from kissing Sammy. Especially in this Harriet thing. He was definitely not in the wrong. So I don't really understand, like, where anyone's coming from to say that Luca is wrong or a bad person. But I guess Harriet and Ronnie do what Harriet and Ronnie want to do. They don't care about any other people. Ronnie is basically just saying that he only puts up with Luca to make Harriet happy. We put up with you, Ronnie. We don't like it. Put up with gorgeous, gorgeous boy Luca. Deal with it. What the was that? So we have a chat now with Curtis, Ekin-Su, Alma and Sammy. And it's getting juicy. It's getting juicy. Harriet, Ronnie and Casey are walking away from where they were having their chat because that's where like Curtis, Ekin-Su, Alma and Sammy are going to have their chat. It's on like the, I don't know what it is, but it's like that little corner sofa that's kind of in like the middle. I don't know how to explain it, I'm sorry. So yeah, Harriet, Ronnie and Casey are walking away and all you hear is Harriet saying, should we get some popcorn? Yes, because that was exactly how I was watching there. It was so good. And like literally the entire villa is just watching them argue. It's so funny. From my point of view, Ekin-Su and Curtis do have every right to be pissed off. Of course you would be. Like, you keep on getting all these questions asked to you about whether you were in a good relationship. Like, yeah, of course it's gonna make you angry. The problem is every question that people have asked has been a valid question. Oh, I'm just gonna spend the entire episode falling off me in it. I've got too many expressions. My forehead is just moving this off me. Ignore my armpit. I saw you looking. Look away now. I can understand. Yeah, it's a guaranteed thing that you would be pissed off when you keep on getting all of these questions about your relationship. But all of the questions that are being asked, or even like the answers in the To Be Honest challenge and stuff, they're all valid answers. Nobody's lying with their answer just to shit and piss all over Ekin-Su and Curtis. They're all telling the truth. And it's all just a little bit. Sammy and Ekin-Su are barking at each other. They're going off. And then it switches to Alma joining in. And it just cuts over to Luca pissing himself laughing on the daybeds. That was hilarious. Also, Ekin-Su says, like, I've been quiet till now, but I just need to talk about it. If you've been quiet, then why can we always hear you? Riddle me that, Ekin. Riddle me that. They just disperse at this point. Like, Alma walks off. She's like, I'm done, babe. I'm done. Love you. And then Gabby comes over to the daybeds and she's like, what happened? And they're all like, girl, you missed it. Bless her. Then they kind of go into like the dressing rooms because like it's getting to nighttime now. We're winding down for bed. And they're all like, oh, how was your night, Alma? How are you? And Alma goes, oh, nothing really happened. The cut away to Harriet's face after she said that. Peak comedy. Thank you, editing team. You did a better job than me. Then we kind of get Harriet and Catherine telling Gabby what happened in the dressing room. And honestly, the way that Harriet and Catherine Describing this story, like explaining what happened, was so fucking funny. They're so animated. I'm like, am I watching a cartoon? Like, they've got their acting skills on, period. And it was amazing. They're such divas. I think a big thing as well, right, is that Ekisu and Curtis are complaining. In every single game, there's always something targeted towards me and Curtis. Okay, valid. Like, yeah, there is probably one or two questions that are always aimed towards you. But so are the other couples! The other couples are also getting all of, not the same questions, but they're also getting questions asked about them. Like, even if I go back, I have my notes. I have notes to prove it. So literally, right, Ekinsu and Curtis got one question asked about them by another couple. Luca and Grace had two. Like, it's not always you. There are other couples that similar things are happening to. Why are you making such a massive, massive deal out of it? Allow it. And this is why I feel like I don't trust a lot of the things that either of them say, because they are so dramatic with everything. Same, of course I am, but I know when to rein it in. Well, sometimes I do. Either way, like, every second of their life, their time in this villa has been over dramatized to a point where I don't think a lot of people would know if they're ever telling the truth or lying. Ekinsu is also saying that ever since the favourite girl, favourite boy vote that we did earlier in the season, she's seen a switch in Elma, and Ekinsu feels like Elma thinks that she can get away with certain things, which I don't see, because Elma been acting like this before she was voted favourite. This is just Elma. This is just Mama Elma. That's just how she acts. Like, it's got nothing to do with whether she was a favourite girl. I don't know what y'all talking about. Ronnie gets a text saying that the boys are going to play paddle, which I really need to talk about paddle for a second, right? Because what the fuck is it? Why is it suddenly taken over all of the D-list celebrities? The YouTubers are doing it. These guys are doing it. Like, where's it come from? Is it just a variation of tennis? Because that's all it fucking looks like. There's paddle courts 10 minutes away from where I live. What is it? I don't understand it. I think it's just fancy tennis. I've convinced myself it's just fancy tennis. Is it? They're using a tennis ball. It is. No. You can't tell me that it's not just fancy tennis. Expensive tennis, whatever you want, because literally the racket is just a fucking tennis racket with some fucking pieces of plastic put over it. If you couldn't already tell, I have a vendetta against paddle. I don't like it. Don't get it. Just play tennis! Just play tennis. I don't know why you needed to make a new game for it. Stop. I don't like it. Anyway, Ekisu gets a text that they're having their little video calls home, and it's all real cute. There's lots of tears, but we're gonna dive right into it now. Gabby gets her brother Ethan. They talk about the Marcel situation, how they feel about Casey. They all really like Casey. Her brother says, like, I know that your dad would be really proud of you, and her dad passed away. So we get a lot of tears from Gabby, and it's really sad, and I love you, Gabby. I love you. Just needed to let you know that. Elma gets her friend Amber, and while Elma's walking away, Catherine says, like, oh, she's had a really tough time in here. It'll be just nice to talk to your friends when you've had a tough time. Fucking Ekisu piping up. Everyone's had a tough time in here. It's not just her.
We all say.
Honestly, just shut up. But honestly, Amber was chatting facts. She's piping up about everything. She was just talking on periods. I have never met Amber. I didn't know who Amber was before that, but I love you, Amber. You could be stepmommy. Elma adopt me. Elma be my mommy, and you be stepmommy. Thanks. Then Catherine gets fellow Love Island season 10 contestant Whitney. What an icon. Love you, Whitney. They talk about the Naz drama, and obviously they like Omar and all of this. Whitney also says she doesn't think that Sammy is real, and that she also doesn't really trust Casey. Whitney also mentions that people are feeling bad for Sammy on the outside, which we are. We weren't feeling bad for Sammy because she didn't get to go with Luca, because she didn't get to break up Grace and Luca. It's because Sammy was put in there to cause drama between Grace and Luca. She got 2 days in there, 3 days in there, and then got sent home again. She wasn't given, there wasn't any bombshells put in for her. She wasn't given a chance to actually do anything in there. She was only put in there because the producers were like, oh, she'll cause shit between Grace and Luca. And yes, she caused a little bit, but she didn't actually cause that much. We're not sad for Sammy because she didn't get Luca. We're sad for Sammy because she was put in there and not given a fair chance of actually finding love, which is what the entire show is about. So there you go, Grace. You're never going to watch this, but there's your explanation. It's Harriet's go next. She gets her friend Saffron. She basically saying everyone's really shocked by the whole Ronnie situation. situation, they did not think that she was going to go back to Ronnie and whatever. She also, Saffron confirms that Harriet said, "Shut your fucking mouth." And do you know what? I thought this was actually quite mature from Harriet. She was like, "You know what? I need to go back and apologize to Casey," because I did think she was kind of a little bit childish during the whole situation. But that I now realize she thought, like, the reason that she was saying like there's more things to be worried about is because she was so genuinely convinced. She just said shut up and not shut your fucking mouth. I'll hold my hands up. I apologise for what I said to you. No, I don't. After Harriet's chat, we cut back over to the boys after playing paddle, and we get a convo between Sammy and Curtis. And it started off so like just boys being boys. They got a ice cold burr, and then it just immediately goes south. Curtis is saying Sammy needs to make Elma apologise. Like, he's not her mother. Elma's his mom. He can't force her to do anything. He literally, right, if Sammy or my partner walked up to me and said, "You need to apologise for this because somebody else has told me that you have to," I'd look him dead in the eye and say, no. He might even get a little smack for the audacity. I don't know where Curtis is getting this thing that Sammy is going to walk up to Elma and demand that she apologises. I don't listen to a man anyway. Why would I listen to a man? I'm waiting. Sammy is like just standing up for Alma, saying like she admitted to you that she shouldn't have said that. That should be a good enough apology. I think the word sorry has gotten so much like, you don't have to say sorry for it to be an apology. She literally said, "I shouldn't have said that. I apologise." And what are you asking for? An apology. She's giving you an apology. She said the word "I apologise." Sorry does not mean apology. There are plenty of other ways that you can apologise to somebody without saying, "I'm sorry." Like, she's literally, you're saying, "I need an apology." The words that have come out of Elma's mouth are, "I apologise." How much more apology can you get? Blows my mind. Sammy has a fair enough point. He's saying, like, everyone got a question they didn't like. You're the only couple who can't let it go. And Curtis is like, "But I don't understand why you're, like, ganging up on us." And Sammy's like, "You shouldn't have fucked up so many times. Like, the reason that people are going to ask questions is because you've given them a reason to." The maturity that is coming out of this man's mouth. I love him. I love you, Sammy. Anybody who says you've ever been childish, liar. Liar. That's actually coming up in a second. Curtis is saying, like, "I fucked up one time and then I owned up to it." Sammy is like, "It's not my fault that you've been messy." And Sammy is really like standing on periods. Sammy is Queen Diva. I love you, Sammy. Sammy is literally just explaining like the only reason that people are getting onto Ekin-Su is because she so easily puts herself in these situations. She makes it really easy to not like her. I agree, because I don't like her, and she's made it really easy for me to not like her. Curtis is now just saying like, "You're being so childish. You say that you're like a 23-year-old man." Well, Curtis, you're acting so childish right now, and you are in fact 29. You're older than Sammy. And he's literally handled everything so much better than Curtis has, and Curtis is so, like, what, 6 years older than him? Make it make sense. We cut back to more of the video calls. We get Grace and her dad. Grace's dad says he likes Luca, says he's a handsome boy. Too fucking right. Grace's dad also has a fair point because they start talking about the Sammy situation. Grace goes, how do you feel about like the game, like Luca kissing Sammy? And her dad goes, "Well, a game's a game, you know." I love you, Grace's dad. I don't know what your name is, but Grace's dad, I love you. Because a game is just a game. As I said earlier, I think Grace took that whole situation way out of hand, but whatevs. Grace's dad also goes, was Luca in the Boy Scouts? And Grace is like, what? Why do you ask? And her dad goes, "Because he's good at making duvet tents." If I went on Love Island and my dad said that to me, I wouldn't go home. Last but not least, on the video calls, we have Ekin-Su's brother, Arda. Arda, come on a season of Love Island, please. I want to look at you more. Thank you. Ekin-Su asks about his honest opinion about Curtis, and it was so freaking funny. Arda goes, "I thought he was a bit of a fanny at first. It's the dance background in him that makes him look like that." Also, Arda would be so perfect on a season of Love Island because he starts the drama with Ekin-Su. He literally asks Ekin-Su, "Who do you think the weakest couple is?" She was like, "Oh, I don't know. Who do you think it is?" And he like immediately goes, "Ronnie and Harriet." and that he's also not too sure about Luca and Grace, and also that he doesn't think that any of the girls have Ekinsu's back. And I'm like, the problem is it's really difficult for you to stand up for Ekinsu when she's been the way that she has been. Episode 28. The boys come back from a paddle. The girls start talking to the boys about their chats from home. Curtis and Ekinsu. Curtis asks about the chat. He agrees with the fact that Arda didn't like him at first, because I think he just recognises that he was a massive dickhead. Everybody kind of talks. Harriet and Ronnie's chat. Ronnie was very, very happy with Harriet's chat because Harriet said that her parents and all of her family and her friends actually like Ronnie now. Like, they're not. Before, Ronnie was like, I'm gonna have to go back and like really try and win over your family, when he actually doesn't, because they're okay with him. We have a chat with Elma, Sammy, Omar and Catherine. During all the talks and everything, we find out that people have always been on Sammy's side about the age gap. They keep on telling Elma to not worry. There were a couple of people who said that they didn't trust Sammy, and he is like, yeah, I admit I was a massive twat with Jess. I think I've grown from that experience. I've changed. If it's true, then it's true. Like, there's no way that we can say like, oh, he hasn't changed, because we don't know. From what we've seen in the villa, he has changed. It could just all be an act. Who knows? Gabby and Casey are having a chat as well. They talk about Whitney's comment about not quite trusting Casey, and basically Casey says he doesn't care about what Whitney has to say. He only cares about what Ethan had to say, and Ethan liked him. So that's literally all he cares about. Which, yeah, obviously if neither of them are really friends with Whitney, then the opinion shouldn't matter. Alma sees Ekinsu sitting on her own, so she goes over. She's like, oh, you look really sad on your own. And I think this is what I really like about Elma. She's not just trotting over there to start an argument. Like, she's gone, okay, she sat on her own. She looks quite sad, actually. I'm gonna go and see if I can make her feel better. I think that's really mature, and I quite like that from you. Thank you, Elma. They do obviously have a chat about everything that's been going on. Elma is basically trying to explain she does not have a vendetta against Ekinsu. She just does not like Curtis. Ekinsu's saying like, after the heart rate challenge, everything seemed to change with the way that Elma was acting, and Elma's like really trying to explain like the only thing that was directed to Ekinsu in this entire situation was Snog, Marry, Pie. It had to be, because it was about the kiss. Everything else they've been getting onto them is because of Curtis. It's got nothing to do with Ekinsu. My label's hanging out. And then Ekinsu's basically saying like, well, we don't go for you and Sammy all the time, so why are you constantly going for us? And Alma's like, we don't give you a reason. We've never given you a reason to come after us. You've given us plenty. Alma's saying, like, if we had gone through something, like, if something dramatic had happened between us, we would be expecting all of these types of comments to be happening. Twitter and the internet, TikTok, and everything really did not like Elma for what has happened over the past couple of days in the villa. I'm really sorry to have to say this, guys, but I'm on Alma's side. I have been since the start. Every argument that she's had is valid. And I think she was in the right for the whole time, so do with that what you will. If you do disagree, leave a hate comment and I will probably ignore it. After this whole thing with Ekinsu and Alma, Ekinsu and Curtis switch out, so it's now Curtis and Alma conversation. They're making this really gross small talk, and it made me feel so uncomfortable. Like, it was so awkward. Literally, this conversation is so quick, right? Curtis starts explaining himself, going like, this is why I think you should apologise to me. Alma goes, well, I'm not going to apologise, so I think I'm just going to leave it there, and just stands up and leaves. I love you. Curtis like goes into the little like diary room area and is like basically saying like, I wish them all the best, like I hope they're happy, and then just goes bye bye. Like, they're dead. It was so weird. We then have a conversation with Gabby, Grace, and Catherine, and what they've realised is the reason that Curtis and Ekinsu and Sammy and Alma are butting heads so often is because Alma and Sammy are very much straight to the point. They don't shit around anything. They don't bullshit you. They will literally go, you look like shit. You haven't blended out your concealer. I don't like your top. Do you know what I mean? Like, they will just do that. And that's just the people that they are. And the type of people that Curtis and Ekinsu are, they are very much beat around the bush, try and like, oh, do you think you could maybe like blend out your concealer a little bit more? I think it just might look a little bit better. Or, oh, have you looked at this top? You might like that one. Do you know what I mean? We always expect people to act the way that we act. I know that I do that, and then get upset when people don't act that way. And that's exactly what's happening here. They're also having this discussion, right? And it made me really angry. Gabby and Grace are just talking, right? And Catherine keeps on going to talk. They just won't let her. Harriet then goes over and apologizes to Casey again, which again, as I was saying before when she was talking to Saffron about it, I think that's really mature. It's bad enough being proven that you're wrong. I know, it makes me feel miserable because I'm always right. But to then admit that you are wrong and apologize for it, I think that's really mature. So thank you for that, Harriet. You pulled yourself up in the ranks a little bit for me. Catherine, Gabby, and Grace had been talking about Elma and Ekin-Su. So Catherine then goes over to Elma and tells her about it. Period. Thank you, Catherine. Catherine, a real one. Do you know what I mean? The whole thing about the Ekin-Su and Curtis is that Ekin-Su is convinced that the only reason that Elma and Sammy keep on going after those two is because they're deflecting their problems onto Ekin-Su and Curtis. To which Elma says, "What problems?" Because, yeah, they haven't had any problems in that villa. They haven't had a single argument. What problems are they deflecting? We go to bed, and all I've put is, what position have Luca and Grace got themselves into? They aren't. They are X Games mode. It's now the morning. Luca and Curtis are like sat on the day beds, and a couple of the girls are upstairs having a chat. It's Elma, Gabby, and Catherine, and the boys just listening in on them. It's so funny. I love that part. They've done it before. Elma has sat on the day beds and eavesdropped on them upstairs on the terrace. So Elma obviously knows that somebody could hear them if they were sat downstairs on the day beds. She don't care. Casey then gets a text saying that it is time for the Love Island talent show. I love the talent shows. I feel like they sometimes bring out the best moments in Love Island. Like, they get the best clips, and I love them. So Harriet goes first, and I think she's doing cheer. Cracking high leg kicks. Oh, she's smacking herself in the face. And the way that she's like switching between her left and right splits. Girl is flexible. I would like some of that, please. I can't even touch my toes. Omar is a cowboy balloon animal maker. Period, I guess. Mouse with a long body. Iconic. Gabby's doing tap dancing, and those wings, they ate. There's nothing more that I can say about that. Wings ate. Sammy, I think he's just doing some tricks. He does a headstand on a pillow as well. He does that fucking thing with Casey. Iconic. I see that on TikTok all the time. And then does some juggling. Oh no, I think he panicked. Alma comes out with her violin. She's playing Ed Sheeran, and it's giving. But no, it was cracking. Love you, Alma. Catherine's doing cake decorating. Casey stood on business. What is going on? I was so confused. Like, since when's that been a talent? Luca's singing The Wanted. He's singing Glad You Came. And obviously he does the intro. And then just before the beat kicks in, he goes, right, get up now. It's going off. Get up. You gotta get up. Ronnie's playing football. He's just doing some tricks, really. He does a bit of a rainbow flick. Tries to score a goal, misses. Yeah, it was quite funny. Oh, Curtis does his dancing again, and you know I hate it when Curtis dances. It gives me the ick, okay? So I have just put Curtis and his horrifying dancing. I fast forwarded his dancing, sorry guys. I couldn't watch it, I'm sorry, I couldn't do it to myself. I felt sick to my stomach. I had to just fast forward through it. I'm sorry. Then it's Grace, and I think she's doing gymnastics. She's got a hula hoop and a ribbon. And did some cartwheels. Wasn't very long. It was quite short, actually. But then we get into the best of them all. The most iconic performance. Casey and his friend Salty. Honestly, watching that, I was in tears. I was in bits. Right, Casey is doing ventriloquism. Salty is going to do some impressions of the islanders. Salty starts off by saying, and I don't like any of you. I was sat, I was gagged, I was gooped. I was so excited. It was just so many, and I'm convinced that Casey's just done this as a ploy to slag them all off to their faces, because that's exactly what it sounds like. Salty keeps on just being mean. I'm saying Salty, like it's not actually just Casey, but he's saying all of these mean things to all of these islanders, and then you've just got Casey turning and going, Salty, be nice. I love him so much. I kind of hope that him and Gabby don't work so he could come back again. I'm joking, I love him and Gabby together, they're so cute. And then after the whole performance, he just fucking sticks Salty in the diary room. I love it. Ekin-Su plays the keyboards. Actually kind of good as well though. Like, is there nothing this woman can't do? I don't think so. I haven't heard her sing. Maybe she can't do that, because she can do everything else, and I'm jealous about it. Sammy gets a text saying that they need to decide the talent show winner, and they all decide on Curtis and Ekin-Su won as a couple. Casey and Salty were robbed. Actually, that entire couple was robbed, because you're telling me that Casey, Salty, and Gabby, rude. And because they have won, they are going to the hideaway retreat. I don't care. As they're like getting ready to leave, Ekin-Su does her little weird baby voice thing and all of the girls tell her off. It was so funny. I can't do it obviously, but she's like, we're gonna have a really good time tonight in the baby voice, and then all the girls are like, no, don't do that, don't, not in the hideaway retreat. And it was made me giggle. Curtis walking around in those silk pajamas, man looks like Scrooge. It was so bad. And we end the episode with an announcement. The public are voting for our favourite couple. Episode 29. And I just had to talk about this because the episode starts like the previously on Love Island starts with the Panic at the Disco cover of The Greatest Show from The Greatest Showman. Cowards. That's what I think you are. Cowards. Why didn't you just use the musical version? I wanted the original musical version. Cowards. It's Valentine's Day as well. Curtis and Ekin-Su come back from the hideaway. Harriet gets a text that it's Valentine's date tonight, and that the girls are leaving to go and do something, basically. And while the girls are out, Curtis gets a text that the boys are getting their calls from home now. Curtis goes first. He gets to talk to his brother AJ.
Probably stop whinging.
AJ is saying like, oh, mum loves Ekin-Su. Curtis admits to AJ that he wants to ask Ekin-Su to be his girlfriend, obviously encouraging it and stuff. And then AJ's also like, you gotta remove the negative energy. Alma and Sammy. AJ also tells me about the Jason Derulo meme. After that one, we cut back to the girls and we find out that they're going out buying food for the boys to cook them for their dates later on. Gabby buys Casey flowers and it's so cute. She's like, it's the 21st century. I can buy my man flowers and he can cook me dinner. Period. I actually love you, Gabby. You're such an icon. Omar gets to talk to his cousin Patricia's saying like, we all love Catherine, and they don't know about Grace and Luca. And the whole like thought process behind the not trusting Luca is because from what they could see, Luca wanted to explore something with Sammy, but Grace literally just told him that he couldn't. And then Omar comes back and he's so straightforward. Like, I love Omar. He doesn't beat around the bush or anything. He just goes back and he's like, yeah, Luca, people don't like you. Sammy gets his friend Roman. Oh, he's just so cute. I love you, Sammy. I've just realised Sammy's a year older than me. What am I doing with my life? Oh my god. Talking about Alma, and obviously everyone likes Alma. They already knew about Alma anyway. Like, they ran in the same circle on Howie, but they're all saying like, yeah, he might be the youngest, but he's acting the oldest, and it's all real cute. Casey gets fellow Love Island contestants and his boyfriend, Tom and Molly. As soon as they come on the screen, the man goes, do you like my Speedos? And then just immediately starts shaking tush. He's shaking boot holes. Is that man okay? I don't think so. You do you, queen. Basically saying like they all really like Gabby and they really like seeing them together. Like, they just think they're real cute. Molly and Tom also think that Ekin-Su and Curtis or Alma and Sammy might not make it to the final. Ronnie gets previous Love Island contestant Liv Atwood and Brad. They have been friends for a while. They're all like joking about stuff. Brad says that Ronnie's been chucked out of the WhatsApp, like the boys chat. I don't know how they put up with him anyway, but fair enough. Ronnie is saying to them like he really wants to ask Harriet to be his girlfriend, but he just thinks there's like a time and a place. Liv sends her love to Gabby because they were on the same season. And then Liv has a very, very, very good point about Alma and Ekin-Su beef, is that both of them want to be the alpha female and they can't deal with somebody being above them, which I don't know. I don't feel like Alma cares that much about. I think Ekin-Su cares about that. I don't think Alma cares about it. And I think Alma will stand up for what is right. I don't think Alma cares about hurting other people's feelings. Like, she will just say what she wants to. Within reason, I think. I think that's the thing. She won't beat around the bush. She'll be straight up and honest with you. Yeah. I feel like there's not a lot more you can say about that whole situation because it's been going on for days. You know, like, we've been talking plenty about it. So I feel like I'm going to leave that situation there. Luca gets to talk to his sister Claudia, and Claudia is saying like they basically weren't too sure about Grace in the beginning, and that was just because of all like outside talk, like, oh, she's not his type. like on paper and stuff like that, but they now really like Grace. Luca asked if he was rinsed for crying in the first week. Claudia says, like, actually people really respect you for your vulnerability. I love a man who cries, so agreed. They also do think that he's handled the Harriet situation fine, which yeah, I do agree with. And Claudia also thinks that Alma and Sammy are going to be next out. Girls come back, they find out the boys are cooking for them. Omar gets asked what his specialty dish is, and he says garlic bread. And forgive me if I'm wrong, but the way that Omar said garlic bread, I could not stop thinking about Mercedes from Glee.
Toilet brush.
I'm sorry. It was just the way he said it sounded exactly like it. Maybe that's on me. We go over to all the dates and stuff. Casey admits he picked flowers from the bushes. He's such an icon. Ronnie asks Harriet to be his girlfriend, and she says no. I was pissing myself. It was so funny. She was like, "You're not doing it here. Not here. No, not here. You're not doing it here." So fucking hilarious. Gabby and Casey do this really cute little pinky promise, and it actually made me really hate myself. It was so cute. Sammy and Alma make it exclusive as well, and then Curtis asks Ekin-Su to be his girlfriend, and she just looks at him and goes, "Can I answer in a different way?" And just fucking kisses him. Like, so you wouldn't take Alma's apology, but you would take that as a yes? Okay. There's a lot of smooches going on. It just cuts to every single couple having a smooch. It made me cry because I'm lonely. To ruin the whole night because I've had a lovely evening. So of course they had to do something to make it shit again. Harry gets a text saying that there'd been a public vote and that 3 couples were up for elimination. The couples were Harriet and Ronnie, Catherine and Omar, and Sammy and Alma. Then Casey gets a text saying that to decide who's going home, the ex-dumped Islanders are coming back. So it's juicy, guys. You know it's about to get juicy. Episode 30. I should have said this in the last episode, but we saw it more in this one. Alma and that little neck flower. Alma, you need to get rid of the neck flower. It's not cute. I'm sorry, it's not. It needs to be gone. She wore it in when she first came into the villa. And I remember looking at, like, just being sat on my phone, like, what is on her? It's so weird. Alma, it needs to go. Catherine gets a text to gather around the fire pit, and obviously all the Islanders are coming back. Basically, the Islanders are voting between those 3 couples who they want to go home. We start off with Liv. Now, you know my opinions on this woman. I already don't like this girl, and she's just making a fool out of herself. She says that there's a couple she thinks should be in the bottom 3 that aren't in the bottom 3. Says it's Grace and Luca. And then it says that there are these texts from Grace saying that she'll do anything to win, but refuses to say who Grace texted them to. When you go, okay, and who showed you that, or who did I send them to? And you're like, not telling. People already know that you're lying. Harry starts piping up saying she obviously photoshopped them and brings up the fucking picture where Liv photoshopped herself over Harriet when she was with Ronnie. But she votes Harriet and Ronnie anyway. And honestly, Liv is one of the worst people I think I've ever seen on the internet. I just think she's a vile, vile human being. And if I ever run into her, I would get arrested for assault. After that whole interaction, obviously it got quite fiery between the Islanders. And it just cuts to Danielle and she goes, actually can't. That was the first one. And yeah, you know this is going to be bare long when that's happened on the first one. Ron keeps it nice, short, sweet, simple, cute. He basically has based his vote on confrontation and how they've dealt with confrontation and likelihood of it working on the outside, and he brings up the age gap, so you automatically know he's voted for Alma and Sammy. Sammy is based it off arguments that she's seen and compatibility. She votes for Harriet and Ronnie. Montel has based it on arguments and has also gone with Harriet and Ronnie. He apologises for having to vote them, says it's difficult because he's got 3 of his boys up there, and then Ronnie pipes back with, "I ain't your boy, I only know you through football." That was an awful accent, I'm sorry, but the little look on Montel's face after Ronnie said that, I was like, he really thought that you were friends and you've just told him that you're not. Made me feel really sad for Montel. Anyway, India based her vote off compatibility and age difference, and she also said, "I literally hate myself, I hope you don't hate me," as in for the vote. She votes for Alma and Sammy. Marcel says first of all, that he's really happy for Gabby and that he made his decision based on who's grown in the villa and who hasn't, and so he voted for Alma and Sammy. Naz did his vote based on what he's seen from his time in there, and that he also went on to say he's happy for Ronnie and Harriet and happy for Catherine and Omar, so then voted Alma and Sammy. I don't know if that's right or not. Oh well. Danielle nearly starts crying. Just bless her little cunt socks, but she ends up voting for Harriet and Ronnie. She's basically started crying before she'd even started talking, and Harriet starts piping up to Danielle, being like, I just don't understand why you would vote us. And she's giving like valid reasons as to why she would vote. She's just piping up to Danielle like Danielle wants to vote one of her old friends, or potentially was still a friend, off a TV show. Like, I just don't get it. And then just piping up with Sammy too. Sammy had nothing to do with that fucking situation. And Harriet, I'm losing respect for you. I barely had any, but it's dropping down again now. Chugs based his vote off amount of time together and the fact that they had done it before, and voted for Harriet and Ronnie. Kaz starts hers off by going, I want to cut the bullshit, and votes for Alma and Sammy because she's heard shitty stuff about Sammy in the past, heard that he's done shitty things to people, and doesn't think the age is an issue, but that Sammy lacks maturity around the Curtis situation, which I think is fucking bullshit. You said that you were going to cut the bullshit and you just added more to it, Kaz. Sammy has been so mature in that situation, like way more mature than anybody in that villa would have been about that situation, and you're saying that he's being immature. Like, what the fuck? I honestly don't get it. Kaz then goes on, she goes, I also just have a message for Grace. Don't trust Luca. Kaz, baby, what the fuck? She's basically just saying that Luca was talking about Sammy before Grace came in the villa, and then whilst Grace was in the villa as well. I just don't care. And then it all kind of starts kicking off between Grace and Kaz, and then Luca gets involved, and then Sammy's somehow brought into the argument. What the hell? And Luca's like, stop butting in to the conversation when the conversation is literally about Sammy. She's fucking sat there listening to people talk about her. Of course she's gonna get involved.
That's like common sense, I fear.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
So it then gets really, really, really sad because the couples are tied, and it comes to Tina to make the decider. Basically, Tina is sending somebody home right now. She's literally already crying before she stood up. Her reasoning behind it, there's one couple that she just wants to see more of because they'd obviously done it before in an old season. And so she votes Harriet and Ronnie, and Harriet and Ronnie are voted out.
That's made my day, that.
It was also made me really confused because this was like a mid-episode boot. It made me really confused. I was like, no, these happen at the end of an episode. Just tell me I've still got 15 minutes left. Because yes, I do skip all of the post-dumping interviews. I don't care about them, okay? Just before they leave, Harriet, and like, this is through the entire game as well, and I think this is where you can really, really, really fucking see that people are lying when they say that Sammy is immature. Every single time that somebody had to vote for Alma and Sammy, their immediate response was, it's okay, don't cry, don't worry, like, you had to vote for somebody, it's fine. Harriet and Ronnie's immediate response to all of them was to start getting angry and fighting back and just being rude and jarring. For anybody to say that Sammy is immature and then to watch that happen, I'm like, are we watching the same TV show? Because it doesn't feel like we are sometimes. Oh, it just blows my mind. And then Harriet's also talking, like, because they've been dumped, she's like, this is the end of the world, we're not going to be a couple this is how she's talking. She's talking like they're never going to talk to each other ever again. Which, and this was just a thought that I had whilst watching it. Is Harriet talking like that because she knows as soon as they leave, he'll cheat on her again? It's an important question to ask. Because then I had another important question. Does Grace have great posture because she's got tiny boobies? Because I've got massive honkers and I look like Quasimodo. There's only one factor that I can see between the two of us that would, well, I'm also morbidly obese. But I still think that's why she's got a fantastic posture, is because she just has little mosquito bites. Oh, guys, I want a breast reduction now. Do you think I'd stand up straight if I got a breast reduction? Look at me! That ain't normal. Got the Daddy Aarons. I can't remember who said this, but somebody said Harriet had every right to want to be treated like a queen, but she should also have the respect to try and treat Ronnie like a king. Period. I think that was a massive, massive, massive thing with Harriet and Ronnie. Take it all, but you never give. Cut electric grenade fire. Then there's like a lot of couples trying to figure out whether it's Grace who's lying or Liv who's lying. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. It's Liv. Even if we came out and realised that Grace was the one who was lying, I would still believe that it was Liv that was lying. Because she's just like that. Also standing on business, Omar and Catherine getting no votes. I was so proud of my queens. Elma then does in fact go on and apologise to Curtis. I think at that point she just wasn't ready to have the conversation. It was obviously still quite heated, still fiery, and I think you just have to let that cool down a little bit before you can have that discussion. And then Casey gets a text saying, "Congratulations, you have all made it to the Love Island All Stars final! Woo!" And they all jump in the pool and they're all holding their girls and it's all really cute. Episode 31, the final. Guys, it's been thrilling. It's been a ride. It's been a journey. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I skipped most of this episode. I'm sorry, okay? I don't care about the little interviews with people. I'm sorry. It's obviously a live final. It starts off with some horrendous acting where like Maya Jama is on like this little sun lounger in a pool and then they all like are stood on that little thing. Oh, the acting was horrendous. It made me cringe. It made me feel sick. Salty's here, guys. Salty's in the audience. Period. Thank you, Salty. Cut from the live back to their last day in the villa. There's not a lot that we have. We basically find out that they get a VIP pool party to end their time in the villa. Nathan Dawes in there. Kais is dancing again. Oh, he had to leave us with one more nightmare before he went. There's a lot of these gross, disgusting, soppy combos. Romance really does actually make me feel quite sick sometimes. So again, I skipped that. And then I skipped through a lot of the episode. But we'll finish here. In 5th place, we had Elma and Sammy. 4th place, Catherine and Omar. 3rd place, Ekinsu and Curtis. 2nd place, Luca and Grace, which means our winners of Love Island All Stars Season 2 was Casey and Gabby! Yeah! I was thrilled, I was excited, I was so freaking happy for them. I thought they really deserved it. Gabby has come so far from her first season, like her original season that she was on. She was quite insecure in her season. She had a lot to work through, I feel like, mentally, and she's come back this season and she's slayed the house boots down and she's just been amazing. And Casey, so many people have had all of these worries about Casey, but I genuinely think that yes, there probably was a little bit of clout in there. You're going on national TV, like of course you want the clout. I genuinely do think, and even he said it, he said he's kind of taken the piss in the villa the last couple of times he was in there, and this time he really wanted to come in and actually do what he's come in to do, and he did that, and I was just so happy for them both. There was obviously a big massive group hug. All of the islanders come over to give them a hug. Maya's just trying to have a conversation with them. She has to like fucking drag them out of this group hug. Those are our winners, guys, and it's over. I know you're heartbroken. The 2 people who've made it this far, I know that you're heartbroken with me. I've got to find something else to do now. I need a little bit of a break. Mentally, I'm fucked. Yeah, this has fucked me up. I've had the soul sucked out of me, guys. These videos have drained me. I do appreciate all of you for hanging around. So again, if you have liked this video, this series, please like and subscribe. Turn your notification bell on so that you get notified when I upload again. If you have enjoyed as well, please leave a comment, especially if you want me to do the summer season of Love Island. Drop a comment. That's it from me. Come back for my vlogs, okay? Because these are getting more views than my vlogs. I want more views on my vlogs. Love you.